I think today we have a very difficult gospel. And I was tempted because of that, I have to confess you, to preach not about and not based in the gospel, but I was trying to find maybe the first reading, maybe the psalm, the second reading, and I said, no, I'm going to preach about the gospel, so I'm going to go a little bit deeper. And you know what makes the gospel a little bit difficult? That sentence that uses, you cannot hear? No, you cannot. Let me see, okay, you can, maybe Deacon, you can go and put a little bit up, the volume a little bit up. I don't want to spend here 20 minutes talking and if you don't understand anything. No, it's going to be less than 20, don't worry. I hope. Okay, and now it's better? Yeah, okay. I was saying that it's not? Okay. Okay. So I was saying that today's gospel is a very difficult gospel, and that I was tempted to not preach about that gospel because it's like you don't want to talk about that. And what makes today's gospel difficult is how Jesus Christ, the Son of God, treats this woman. We don't want to talk about that. Even if we, in our society, sometimes some people treat dogs in a better way than some human beings. We don't want to call anybody a dog. Don't you agree? I mean, in today's gospel, Jesus Christ is saying, in an indirect way, or maybe very direct way, that that lady, that woman, is a dog. So, because of that, I said, no, I'm going to preach about that, actually. I'm going to go a little bit deeper and find out what really the gospel wants to say. And I want to go a little bit deeper in that. So the first thing, we have to understand who is that woman. And why Jesus Christ, maybe understanding that, we are going to understand why Jesus Christ says what he says in today's gospel. Because at the end of the day, the most important thing actually is what happens at the end. At the end, Jesus Christ, says, woman, great is your faith. And let me tell you, if the only lady, and not the only lady, but the only person in the Gospel of St. Matthew that Jesus Christ is saying and is giving that adjective, that she has a great faith. It's the only person, not even Peter. Now we can have maybe we can see the beauty about the gospel. So the first thing that we have to understand is who is that lady I was saying. This first is a woman. She is a woman. And in the time of Jesus Christ, women were despised. They were not considered actually citizens. They could not inherit, they could not have anything. And this woman is not only a woman, she is a Canaanite woman, which means she is not a Jew woman, which means in the eyes of Jewish people, they were not the chosen people, they were despised too. And actually, that's why the gospel says that Jesus Christ calls her dog. Because for Jewish people, pagans, all of them, which means those who are not Jewish, were dogs. It was a not very nice term, but they used to call them that way. So the whole story is about how this woman is able to overcome obstacles to get to Jesus Christ. And this is beautiful. So the first obstacle is herself, who she is, her identity, her identity as lady, as woman, and as a pagan woman would make the encounter with Jesus Christ impossible. Impossible. Not a woman, and especially a pagan woman, could encounter Jesus Christ. That very fact made that impossible. And she is able to overcome that. She goes to Jesus Christ, having in her head, her heart, the absolute determination to get to him. So before she goes to Jesus Christ, before she approaches Jesus Christ, and this is beautiful, it was necessary that Jesus Christ approaches her. It's not the pagan lady who goes to Israel. It's Jesus Christ who goes to the country, the place where that lady is. Are you following me? It's Jesus Christ who goes to Sidon and Tyre. And that makes the entire encounter possible. And I don't want to talk a lot about that, just to mention that, how Jesus Christ is the one who always takes the initiative to go and approach each one of us. Always. This is God. That's God. He likes to go to our encounter. He is the one who takes the first step, not us. He is the one who goes first. And the lady, that woman, I'm not going to say lady because the gospel doesn't say lady, it says woman. That woman is crying out, asking for help to Jesus Christ. So the first obstacle is herself. And the second one is silence. When she is crying out, what she gets from Jesus Christ? Nothing. Silence. Jesus Christ doesn't answer. The ones who answer are Jesus' disciples. And the answer is not nice. But they don't answer to her. They are talking to Jesus Christ about her, telling him, get rid of that woman. She is bothering us. She is crying out here, making noise, calling for help. And who cares about that lady? Who cares about that woman? So send her out. That's the second obstacle, the disciples. But the woman doesn't give up. There is silence, but she continues with the absolute necessity, maybe out of necessity, with their goal in her mind and in her heart, knowing that she wants her daughter to get better, and she continues crying out, asking for help. And it comes a third obstacle. Silence herself, but first her identity, silence in the part of Jesus Christ, and third, Jesus Christ says, and it's interesting because Jesus Christ doesn't answer directly to her. He says, I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. He's saying, you are a pagan woman. You are not an Israelite woman. I don't have to go and do anything for you. My mission is primarily for those who belong to our race, to the Jewish people, not to pagan people. I don't want to go deeper about that because if I do that, now it's going to be more than 20 minutes. So just say that is Jesus Christ saying, it's not my mission. So now she has to encounter more than silence, indifference in the part of Jesus Christ. But she doesn't give up. She continues crying out, asking for help. And like that was not enough, Jesus Christ, and I'm going to read that sentence. It is not right to take the food of the children and throw it to the dogs. Remember the sentence. I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Now he's saying it is not right to take the food to the children and give it to the dogs. And this is a key here to understand the text. I'm so sorry, but many times to understand the gospel, we have to understand the Greek. The Greek word that St. Matthew uses for dogs is kinarion. Don't worry, after you leave the church, tonight you are not going to remember that. It doesn't matter. You have to remember only one thing, that kinarion means house dog. And there is another word for wild dogs, which is kion. St. Matthew uses kinarion, which means it's a domestic dog, the dogs that are in a home. Got it? Okay. Scholars say that this is the key to understand the text, actually. Jesus Christ is telling the lady, yes, dog, you are a dog, but you are a house dog. So Jesus Christ's first answer was silence. When his disciples are asking him to get rid of the lady, he doesn't do it. So he is indirectly accepting the lady to be close to him. And when the lady continues and continues, he says, you are a house dog, which means still being a dog, you are in the house. You got it? So the lady, the woman, this is the gospel says, uses the same sentence that Jesus Christ used to talk about her and trapped Jesus Christ. Okay, if I am a house dog, I am not a children in that household, I am a dog. The dogs in that household get food. So please give me that food. You got it? That's the key. So the lady, and the point here is that the lady doesn't give up. He is always using everything to get what she wants from Jesus Christ. And at the end, she got it. She was able to trap again Jesus Christ. And she was able to take from Jesus Christ what she wanted. And Jesus Christ has no option than to accept that the lady is right. She may not be a child, she may be a child, but she is in the house. And because of that, she has to be fed. And she is going to get again what she was looking for, the healing of her daughter. It's beautiful because the gospel is teaching us how we cannot give up. How when we are going to come to a relationship with God, there are many obstacles. We are going to encounter, we are going to experience many obstacles in that relationship. Could be ourselves for different reasons. Could be because maybe God doesn't respond in the way we want and we only hear silence, which means we don't hear anything. Could be because what we get is completely different to what we want, but the teaching is don't give up. Perseverance is the key. That woman is able to do it. So faith is like the complete understanding that we have to hang in there. Sometimes I say to people, especially young people, how are you? Hanging in there, they say. You say that too sometimes, huh? Hanging in there. In my mind, it's like we're hanging in there, like, okay, faith is that. We are hanging in there. And we are hanging in Jesus Christ as our only sustenance. And when we understand that, we can give and we can overcome anything. We are hanging in there. It's like when we are drowning and our own life raft is Jesus Christ. So we have to go and take it. That woman is showing us that. Her own hope was Jesus Christ. And in the middle of the dialogue, you can see how it was signs for other people maybe to give up. But she was able to find in that hope, and she didn't give up. She continued with her persistence and there to get what she wanted. And at the end, Jesus says, "Lady, woman, great is your faith." Last Sunday, St. Peter was not described as somebody who had great faith. Actually, Jesus Christ is, your faith is too weak. St. Peter, which is the first pope, weak faith. This lady has a great faith. Great. My brothers and sisters, I think the invitation is very simple and clear. We have to be like that lady, like that woman. Never give up and always hanging in there, understanding that Jesus Christ is our own life raft and that we have to go and take it. Because if we don't take it, we are going to drown and our life is going to just finish. So let us pray that today we may be able to see in that woman an example for our own spiritual life, for our own Christian faith. Please stand.